The quantum Ansible hummed its final transmission as Elsa's fingers trembled over the kill switch. Through the observation port of Station Kepler 442, she watched Earth hanging like a blue marble against the void, oblivious, peaceful, doomed. "Don't do this," Verk said behind her, his voice carrying the weight of their 5-year partnership across the stars. Elsa didn't turn. "They've already done it, I'm just trying to undo it." 3 months ago, the first Drethian probe had breached the Uit cloud. Elsa had been the one to detect it, a whisper of exotic matter cutting through spacetime like a hot wire through ice. She'd sent the warnings immediately, encrypted bursts to Earth Command, to the Colonial Defense Initiative, to anyone who would listen. The message was simple, desperate, and ignored. Do not engage, do not communicate, do not drag Earth into our war. But humanity, in its infinite arrogance, had done exactly that. Verk moved to the console beside her, his dark eyes scanning the data streams. "The response fleet will be here in 6 hours. If we shut down the Ansible now, Earth loses its only early warning system." "Earth lost that the moment Command decided to play hero," Elsa replied, her jaw tight. She pulled up the tactical display, a 3-dimensional battlefield stretching across light years. Red markers indicated Drethian positions. Blue showed human assets. And in the middle, a sickly green cluster represented the Kelvorian sovereignty, the empire whose civil war had been raging for 3 centuries before Earth had even discovered fire. Elsa and Verk were Kelvorian defectors. They'd fled the sovereignty 12 years ago, settling into quiet lives as deep space observers, cataloging stellar phenomena and staying as far from the war as physics would allow. They'd chosen Earth's colonial sphere specifically because it was remote, insignificant, unnoticed. Until 3 weeks ago, when Admiral Chen had made first contact with a Drethian emissary. "Show me the transmission again," Verk said quietly. Elsa hesitated, then complied. The holographic display materialized between them, Admiral Chen's face, proud and defiant, addressing what she believed was an alien dignitary. "On behalf of the United Earth Government, we extend our hand in friendship to the Drethian Coalition. Your struggle against Kelvorian oppression mirrors our own fight for independence centuries ago. We stand ready to assist in your noble cause." Elsa closed her eyes. Noble cause, the words tasted like acid. "They don't understand," she whispered. "The Drethians aren't freedom fighters. They're a Kelvorian splinter faction that disagrees on post-singularity governance protocols. This isn't oppression, it's a philosophical debate being settled with antimatter." Verk nodded grimly, and now Earth has declared allegiance to one side. The station's proximity alarms began to chirp. Elsa's eyes snapped open, fingers flying across the holographic interface. New contacts, dozens of them, emerging from slipspace at the edge of the system. "Kelvorian Sovereignty Fleet," Verk confirmed, his voice hollow. "Dreadnought-class minimum, they're not here to talk." Elsa pulled up the quantum Ansible logs, tracking the cascade of transmissions that had brought them to this moment. Admiral Chen's message to the Drethians had been intercepted. Of course it had been intercepted. The sovereignty monitored everything within 100 parsecs, and now the response was inevitable. The Kelvorians didn't distinguish between combatants and collaborators. Earth had sided with the Drethians. Earth would burn. "We have to warn them again," Verk said, already typing. "Maybe if we explain." "I warned them." Elsa's voice cracked across the station's cramped command center. "I warned them for 3 months. I sent them historical data, casualty projections, testimony from refugees. I begged them to stay silent, to stay invisible. And what did Chen do? She invited extinction to dinner." Verk's hands stilled on the controls. In 5 years, he'd never heard Elsa raise her voice. She turned to face him, and he saw tears tracking down her cheeks. "Do you know what the Kelvorian doctrine is for third-party interference, Verk? Do you remember what they did to Thalassa Prime?" He did remember. Thalassa Prime had been a thriving colony world of 6 billion souls. It had made the mistake of sheltering Drethian refugees. The sovereignty had sterilized the entire planet with relativistic kinetic bombardment. The survivors numbered in the hundreds. Earth has 8 billion people, Elsa continued, her voice breaking. Earth is the cradle of humanity. Every colony, every station, every human being in the galaxy traces their lineage back to that one blue world. And in 6 hours, the sovereignty is going to glass it. The Ansible chimed, an incoming transmission. Elsa and Verk exchanged glances before she opened the channel. A Kelvorian face materialized, sharp features, bioluminescent tattoos marking rank and service history. Fleet Commander Zareth, Elsa realized with a chill. She'd served under him before her defection. Operative Elsa, Zareth said, his voice carrying the harmonic overtones of Kelvorian enhancement. Operative Verk, your presence on this station has been noted. You have 60 minutes to evacuate before we begin orbital bombardment of the primitive world you've been monitoring. Commander Zareth, Elsa replied, forcing her voice steady. Earth is ignorant of the true nature of this conflict. They were manipulated by Drethian intelligence. They don't deserve extinction for a single diplomatic error. Zareth's expression didn't change. Earth made first contact with enemy forces. Earth offered material support to the Drethian coalition. Under sovereignty law, Earth is now a legitimate military target. This is not negotiable. They have no effective weapons, Verk interjected. No slipspace capability beyond experimental drives. No antimatter production. They can't threaten the sovereignty. They provided the Drethians with sensor data on our fleet movements, Zareth countered. That makes them an intelligence asset for the enemy. The Council has voted. The sentence is final. Elsa felt something cold settle in her chest. She'd known Zareth for 40 years. She'd saved his life twice during the Frontier Wars. And now he was going to murder her adopted homeworld with the same dispassion he'd used to delete a corrupted file. What if we give you something better? The words left Elsa's mouth before she'd fully formed the thought. Zareth tilted his head. Explain. Elsa pulled up a classified file from her personal archive, data she'd stolen when she'd defected. Drethian shipyard locations in the Kepler-62 system, manufacturing specifications for their new slipspace disruptors, command codes for their autonomous defense network. Beside her, Verk inhaled sharply. Elsa, that's everything I took when we left, she finished. Everything we've been sitting on for 12 years. It's yours, Commander. Complete Drethian strategic infrastructure for the entire Orion Spur, in exchange for one primitive planet. Zareth was silent for a long moment, his enhanced neural architecture clearly processing the offer. You would betray your Drethian contacts, the network that helped you escape. I would betray anyone to save Earth, Elsa said simply. Another pause. Then, transmit the data. If it's verified as authentic, we will delay our operation. Earth will be placed under sovereignty observation instead of immediate pacification. But any further contact with Drethian forces will result in the original sentence being carried out. Understood, Elsa whispered. The channel closed. Elsa stood frozen, staring at the now empty holographic display. Verk placed a hand on her shoulder. You just condemned thousands of Drethian civilians. Those shipyards employ families, children. I know. The people who helped us, Mara, Kelvon, the Safe House network on Arcturus Station. The sovereignty will trace them all through that data. I know, Elsa's voice was barely audible. Was it worth it? Elsa looked out at Earth, still spinning peacefully in the darkness, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of how close they'd come to annihilation. Ask me in 100 years, she said. She initiated the data transfer, watching as 12 years of carefully guarded secrets flowed across the quantum Ansible to the Kelvorian fleet. Each file represented lives, people who'd trusted her, helped her, believed in a cause she'd once believed in too. But Earth would survive, humanity would continue, and Elsa would carry the weight of what she'd done for the rest of her life. The Ansible's transmission, complete indicator, blinked green. Verk moved to the observation port standing beside her. What do we do now? Elsa watched the Kelvorian fleet begin its slow withdrawal, their weapons still hot but no longer targeting Earth. Now, she wiped her eyes, now we send one more message to Admiral Chen, and this time she's going to listen. She began typing, her fingers steady despite everything. I warned you not to drag Earth into our war. You didn't listen and it almost cost you everything. What I've done to save you cannot be undone. What I've sacrificed cannot be repaid. But understand this, you are being watched now. Every transmission, every diplomatic contact, every ship that leaves your system, the sovereignty sees it all. Stay quiet, stay small, stay alive, and pray they never have reason to return. Elsa. She sent the message and deactivated the console. Behind them, Earth continued its rotation, ignorant and spared, while two defectors stood vigil over the planet they'd traded everything to protect.